Where is your 16 billion electricity fund? You see, when I read some of these allegations and accusations, you are a Nigerian, and thank God for social media. You can carry out the probe, and if Atiku had 16 billion, you think Obasanjo or Nasiru El-Rufai would not reveal that. Go and read El-Rufai's book. I've read it. I've read Obasanjo's books. I've watched Obasanjo's vituperations, anger, and everything. The truth of the matter is that Baba Obasanjo and Atiku had personal issues. And that's one of the things I respect about Atiku. He never insulted his elder. He never insulted his principal. The issue was over the third term. If you don't have your facts, go and check it. There was an agreement that after first term, Atiku would take over. And a lot of the governors supported Atiku against Obasanjo for the second term. That's where the trouble started from. I hold a master's degree in English literature. And while studying literature at the then University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, we were taught something, and it was called the sociological approach to literature. Anybody who read literature would have come across the sociological approach. What's the sociology? The sociology is simple. You must know a writer's background. You must know why Chinua Achebe wrote what he wrote. It's his Igbo background. When you read Things Fall Apart, you read A Man of the People, you read Arrow of God, you read No Longer at Ease, you will see that Igbo culture and tradition and wisdom of the ancient reflected in his writings. If you read Wole Soyinka, you will see his Yorubaness and everything in it. So when two people are fighting, you must go beyond the ordinary words that they bandy in public. You must go behind and penetrate and find out, why are these people saying these things? So, the most investigated Nigerian today will be Atiku Abubakar. There is nothing they've not thrown at him. By now, he will be in jail if his enemies had their way. But they couldn't prove a thing against him. He's a very detailed, consummate administrator. If we like, let's waste him. But we should stop complaining. If you waste your best materials, we should stop complaining. You are never going to find a saint to rule a country. The Vatican, which is supposed to be the seat of the Roman Catholic Church, is not managed by saints. They are managed by people, by human beings. Atiku is one of the best brains we have in Nigeria today. Peter Obi is certainly one of the best brains you will find in Nigeria today. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, I know very well, is a very, very intelligent, very passionate Nigerian patriot. We have so many, in every part of Nigeria. We have them. But we like people who tell us lies. And I told you, Baba Obasanjo, definitely for me, after Nelson Mandela, is the greatest African of the 28th and 21st centuries. We would disagree all the time, politically. But we must be sensible enough to respect those who deserve our respect. But ethnicity is always our number one. Number two is religion. Number three and overall is cash. So I don't know how far that will take us. Elvis, how are you? Okay, I hear there are some people on Twitter waiting to ask questions. Let me go back. Thank you, LV Sose, my man. He was one of my most hardworking assistants when I was a director of strategic communications for the Atiku presidential campaign. Okay. If you know me a bit, you will know how passionate I am about education. As I speak to you, one of my legacy projects is to develop a library resort in Ibadan. I've been on it for over 5 years. It's nearing completion. But of course, with the kind of economic challenges in Nigeria today, it's proving more and more expensive. A generator I could have bought last year for about 6-7 million is now almost 20 million. So, talking about education, as a young man, I lectured A-level at the age of 22 to 23. Excuse me. So, my passion for education is similar to yours, but I'm not sure that our politicians really care much about education. And it is very obvious. If you look at most of the states, we have 36 states in Nigeria today, and you look at the budgets, majority of them have very, very token budget for education. So it tells you that the people, most of our kids are going to live in ignorance and possibly wallow in poverty. People think education is about getting jobs. It is not. Education is about making you a complete human being. And you will never see any developed nation that has not developed its education. There is none. And Nigerians are naturally brilliant. I always say that if I had my way, and this was one of the things that Mazin Namdekanu said about me before he was arrested, that Momodu was the only person making sense to him. I said I would have turned the eastern part of Nigeria into a Silicon Valley. We have raw talent in every part of Nigeria, trust me. Even when some people say some parts of Nigeria are educationally disadvantaged, it's just a matter of time, everybody will catch up. Because education is, an international phenomenon. It's nothing local. And it's about your brain. It's about using you just need someone to excite your brain, and it will trigger into action. I don't know if you want to rely on the National Assembly, a National Assembly that cannot even agree on a simple budget for the country. Now they are disagreeing and abusing and suspending themselves. So it will take the vision of one man. I read something in Chinua Achebe many years ago. That passage says, where does one begin? With the masses. Educate the masses, not a chance there. Perhaps a benevolent dictatorship. All over the world, benevolent dictators have made things happen. In Singapore, one man came and he had a vision of what he wanted his country to be. And before our very eyes, Singapore moved from being a third world nation to a first world country. It can happen in Nigeria. I think PDP was going in that direction. Maybe our impatience, and I'm also holding myself guilty of that offense, that we were too impatient to allow PDP to fully blossom. But we learn our lessons every day, and we must apologize for our mistakes. It's only a fool that will make a mistake and is not ready to apologize for it or to make amends for it. PDP definitely has served Nigeria far better than APC. It's obvious that APC has been infiltrated by all manner of people who are just not interested in Nigeria. They're only interested in power. Already they are fighting for 2027. When they've made a complete mess of Nigeria today. So I hope that we will have people of vision. Again, while not campaigning for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, you can see one of the reasons I admire him, his investment in education is humongous. How many of our leaders today have invested in education? So, and you can see Peter Obi's interest in education, I'm aware of. Several times, I've met him either in his house or we've spoken on phone about education. He's been traveling from country to country in Africa to compare the educational system and everything. We need leaders who are passionate about such things, not leaders who are only interested in sharing money in government. So let's pray that opposition will be able to work together moving forward, because there must be a solution. And the solution is not in you and I just sitting down here to talk every day. We've been talking forever. In May, by the grace of God, I'll be 64. What haven't we seen? In fact, now I'm tired of writing. I used to write Pendulum every Saturday on the back page of this day. I'm tired of you writing the same thing I've written for 30-something years. Nothing has changed. It's like we're jinxed as a nation. So we'll continue to work and pray that a leader who understands the benefits of education will rise up in the near future in Nigeria. Thank you. But let me also add that there is nothing new about Japa syndrome. People have been leaving Nigeria to study abroad for ages. My elder brother finished from Government College Ibadan in 1965, finished his A-level, 1965. I was 5 years old. And he moved to the US, came back in 1975 with a PhD from Stanford. And he retired as a professor of physics from the University of Ife. He's going to be 80 by the grace of God next week. We're celebrating his life. You know, Nigerians have always had this dream of going to the best institutions in the world. Go to Harvard, go to Stanford, go to Yale, go to MIT, go to Cambridge, go to Oxford. You will find Nigerians everywhere doing great things. So education is not something that should limit us to Nigeria. I believe that a lot of Nigerians who have gone away now will come back to make Nigeria better one day, if our governments provide that enabling environment. That's what happened to India. India is a very good, I remember many years ago when I went to Mumbai, the place looked so shabby. Today, India has changed because a lot of their people who migrated abroad made sure that whatever they saw abroad, they transferred back home. But for our diasporans, maybe by now, $1 will be 5,000 naira. They are the ones now trying to help us with the bad state of the naira at home because they are repatriating their money back home. Nigerians, we have this extended family system and nobody is going to abandon. That's why, despite the fact that people are crying of hunger, they are still able to survive because of our extended family system. You cannot abandon your mother, you cannot abandon your sister, so it's happened elsewhere. So let's look at the good side of it. As many Nigerians as can make money abroad, let them make it. But those who have nothing doing abroad, if they can stay at home, they can also create their own, job opportunities, create their vocational, jobs and everything, and they will make it at home. A lot of people are making big money in Nigeria today. Some from just selling plantain chips, some from selling akara. So those who can go, let them go. Fight for the greener pastures, but make sure they bring them back home. Thank you.